Recorded Books presents Braced for Love by Mary Connealy, narrated by Barbara Mcculloh. Chapter 1. August, 1870. Bear Claw Pass, Wyoming. Kevin Hunt came awake with a snap, a metallic clink. He didn't need to figure out more. He slid a hand over his little brother's mouth and felt Andy wake up instantly. An inch from his ear, Kevin hissed, "Hide." Not a word from Andy, not a question, nothing but instant obedience. It made a big brother both mighty proud and sad. A shame the kid had learned such ugly lessons. Silence, fear, danger, death. Stay hidden. Move, move, move. Ugly lessons they'd all learned well. In the darkest night Kevin had ever known, he crawled on his belly around the campfire. Its ashes burned down until they didn't even glow. The sky was a starless, moonless, black mass, not even a sliver of light. Wind whistled with a mournful howl through the rolling hills and waving grass, the reminder that soon cold weather would return to push back the warmth that now ruled August in Wyoming. Fighting for silence and speed, hoping the wind covered when he failed, Kevin reached Molly on the far side of the campfire. Even though she was his sister, she said it was improper to sleep by the men. It was a cool night, and Kevin regretted Molly held herself apart from her brothers. She'd learned her own bitter lessons, and holding herself apart wasn't all about being proper. He felt more than heard her wake up and stir, just a bit. She judged the silence correctly and maintained it without his covering her mouth. Bleeding Kansas had taught them a lot. Even all these years later they remembered. All that teaching might save their lives tonight. Kevin whispered, just louder than a breath, "Hide. Fast." Molly was moving before he said the second word, Kevin right behind her. His brother and sister were no kids. Molly, an adult woman of 19, Andy, 15. The three of them were on their way west, abandoning the town that had turned on them. Kevin crawled after Molly, scraping on his belly like a low-down cowardly worm, and it burned him to retreat. He'd like to stand and fight, but he couldn't fight what he couldn't see. Summer grass closed overhead, but it wasn't tall like the prairie grass back in Kansas. Still, it was tall enough to cover a person lying on their belly. The grass rustled as they crawled into it, but with the wind covering their movements, Kevin hoped whoever was sneaking up on their camp wouldn't notice. If they could just be silent and stay hidden in the grass, they had a good chance of surviving this night. He listened. His vision was keen in the dark, but it was useless tonight, so he relied on sound and smell. He heard a clink of metal again and a faint creak of leather. The very fact it was so quiet alerted him. A faint jingle of a horse's bridle, but not close. A brush of footsteps. More than one person. Whoever they were, they'd left their horses behind, sneaking up. Not native folks. There wasn't usually metal on their hackamore bridles. And if it had been an Indian, Kevin doubted he'd have heard them coming. He turned back, crawled to the edge of the grass, not sure just where he'd be visible, should the clouds part and the moon shine down. When he'd gotten as close as he dared, he waited, breath held, wondering where Andy was now. An explosion of movement came from the far side of the camp. Two dark forms, silhouetted against a black night, leapt into the clearing and fired an instant after they appeared. Their deafening guns poured lead right into the blankets where Kevin and his family had slept. Kevin saw the flare of light that accompanied each shot, smelled the gunpowder, sharp and acrid.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?